So we now move on to the next session based on the topic that is literally the need of the hour to tell the audience. We all earn or will eventually earn money through our jobs and our business ventures. But do we truly understand money and how to manage it in our daily lives? Well, let's not worry too much since this next speaker is here to take care of just that subject for us today. So let's talk about financial literacy and money management with our esteemed speaker Subhasree Sarkar. Currently, Subhasree is the Senior Vice President of CSR at Yes Bank, where she leads the CSR programs. Previously, she's worked as the Head of Social Responsibility at Bisleri and Everest Industries, among others. She has a master's degree in social work, certification in ESG from IICSR, and a postgraduate diploma in industrial relations and personnel management from Bhartiya Vidya Bhavan. She has also completed a master's degree in English literature. She is an experienced CSR and ESG professional with over 18 years of expertise in transforming lives through various sustainable development projects, social impact strategies, and innovative and solution driven project designs. She has worked extensively with corporates, government, UN agencies, and global nonprofit organizations, and has exposure to states and national level projects. Subhashree's work experience covers a wide range of sustainable development agendas, including poverty alleviation, quality education, gender equality, socio-economic empowerment, public healthcare, skill building, livelihood and microfinance, rural and urban development, alternate energy, and the environment. Is there anything else that we missed, Subhashri? I'm so sorry if we did. It's just a quite extensive profile that you have, and we are so glad that you're here with us today. Honor to have you here.
Thank you very much, Mamta. And it's very wonderful and very explanatory introduction, I think. Yeah, thank you very much. It's really my pleasure to be here in this forum, and I'm really excited for the session and for the discussion. So I will not call it as a session because if I consider myself, I'm not a finance expert. When you explained all my experience, I have not done anything in the finance, but yes, still, I am sure that this session would be both way learning. What I know, I can share with our audience, and I'm definitely I can also take something from you from your learning. So
Sure.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Subhashri. The stage is all yours. In fact, if you can start sharing on some points, and I think we have some questions here already that are pouring in on our YouTube channel, and we can get there. If you can just start by your journey on how did it go from your first job managing your finances, and personally, what have you learned about finance in your corporate journey, though?
Sure. So, like Mamta, you started, I have experience working in various sectors. So, when I started in a very earlier age, so from then only, I would say, okay, the financial literacy was I was also not very confident on this because when, if I remember my student time, I used to stay in hostel. My parents used to send certain amount of money, and in the initial few months, within 15 days, all the money we used to spend, and the next 15 days, we really don't know what to do, how to manage.
That's
Then
right.
that was the time when I was a student. Then when I started earning, that time also, like it happens with all the students. I'm sure in this forum also, there are many youth who are joining. It happens with all, like a certain excitement when we start earning. We really don't understand where we should spend, why we should spend, and we start spending so fast that we end up with at the end of the month, maybe we are not having any savings and that. So it took me a long time also to understand. And it is, I will say, this is a journey which I have gone through. I have failed and then I have learned some. And I don't know how much I have learned, but yes, it is very much important that I have learned. Yes, we need to plan it because there are certain situations. If we do not manage our money, everything what we are doing, education, everything is important, but money is also a very important factor in our life. So if we do not manage our money properly, it will be troublesome time in our life to manage everything like our health, our education, our future. So it is very important that we from the beginning know how to handle our finance, what are the basic things at least, because generally whenever we start talking about finance, even when I was thinking of the session, I was also a little worried, okay, I am not a technically finance person. So this is the first thing always come to our mind when we think, okay, I am not a accountant, or I'm not a chartered accountant. I may not understand everything. Where this for this we have professionals, but we first need to understand the basic. If we understand the basic, and if we know where to go, when to go, then maybe we will be able to reach out to our goal. So I will start with, I have created a small presentation. I have shared that with you. If you can start, we can start with those few pointers, and then maybe we can take up a few
Sure, that will be
questions.
great. The stage is all yours,
Yes,
Subhasree.
yes, yes, that would be
When we
nice.
think of financial literacy, as I mentioned before, also, it sounds very technical, and we sometimes gets very scared. Okay, maybe I'm not the right person. I will not be able to handle. But if we talk about a very simple term, financial literacy is a simple way to effectively manage our finances. This is not only our personal finances. If we talk about our organization, maybe it's the organizations also. But initially, it is the financial skills, which includes our financial personal finance management, the budget, the amount that we are earning, how we are managing it, and savings, and how much we are investing, and where we are investing. So, whenever we are doing all this planning and we are doing it in a conscious way, this is all about our financial literacy. Uh, yes, I can see it now.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
just putting it on the slideshow.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, great. So yes, we can stop here. So yes, as I mentioned, it is just something. If we talk in a very simple term, it is just like how we are managing our finance, how we are doing the savings, the budgeting, and whatever investment that we are doing. If we have a proper plan, how we are doing, when we are doing. So this is all about the simple term of financial literacy. If we see the survey of India, there is only 27% of the population who understand the financial literacy. That means it is one out of the five people only understand how to manage their finance, how to deal with the critical situations when there is a financial crisis. And this is not only in India. If we talk about the global scenario, it is almost the same. In global also, it is around 33% of the global rate of financial literacy. So here we can see that it is not a problem of one country only. It is a problem of the global, because there is always a fear, or there is always an unconsciousness which we think, yes, we do not know, need to manage our finance. We do not understand what is financial literacy, whether we need to understand. So, what we should do? Generally, when it happens, we earn some money, or there we have some resources. We used to go to our friends or our family for help or suggestions. Okay, so I want to invest this much money. You can suggest me where we can do, how we can do. So this is one way that we do. Second, many a times we really do not understand, and we just keep it in our bank account as a liquid money. Or sometimes we really do not find anyone who is a finance person, or who understand finance, whom we can go. So this way, we do not understand how to manage our finance, and it is lying with us as a not properly managed the particular fund. So, in this situation, what generally we need to do is first to understand some basic things of the financial literacy. That is the importance of the finance, why we should understand the financial literacy, how we should do the budgeting, and what are the areas where we should do the investment. So these are few very simple things we can understand, which may help us in our proper planning of effectively managing our finance and or the money management. So can we move to the next slide? Uh, in this slide, we will talk about the importance of the financial literacy. So financial literacy empowered us to make an informed decision. So how it empowered us? Because if financial literacy, we understand the knowledge and the skill how to manage the money wisely, then we can take an informed decision what are the amount we should invest, how we can invest, where all we can invest. So this helps us to take a decision which is within our control. Then second is it build a foundation for financial well-being. So having a strong understanding of the financial will help us in a solid foundation of the financial well-being and achieve our financial goal. So when we talk about financial goals, what are the financial goals? I'm sure many of you know about our short-term goals or long-term goals, or we will discuss in the next slides. We all have some plan, some goal. Some of you are student, you are maybe planning for your next education. Maybe you are planning for a world tour or something else. So you all
Right.
have a proper planning. So if we have a proper planning and we can invest the amount and we can spend and expenses can be planned that way. So that will help us in the proper financial well-being of our life. Then it also helps us in reduce the financial stress. How it helps us in reduce the financial stress? There are many times some unplanned acts, incidents happen when we are not planned for that. Some accident or some sudden things which immediate we need to repair our house, or we immediate have to help someone, a close relative or a friend for with some money. So if we do not have that amount managed with us, we are into a stressful situation. Okay, I need it. How will I manage? Should I borrow for some from someone? Should I take a personal loan? So if we have a proper planning, sometimes it may also reduce in the financial stress situation. Can we move to the next slide?
The
So
next slide again?
the budget slide, yes, this one.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
So now when we talk about the financial planning, the first step is for the financial planning is the budgeting. I'm sure many of you here understand budgeting. You can like raise your hand how many of you understand budgeting or somehow you are doing budgeting in your day-to-day life. Yes, great. Yes. Very nice to see that all of you understand budgeting. And frankly speaking, when I was a student, I was not that good in budgeting. As I mentioned, that in my hostel life, I used to spend all my money within the 15 days. So I'm very happy to see that many of you understand it and you plan it very well. So budgeting is the first step for financial planning. When we plan our budget properly, we understand what are the requirement we have in our like coming days, and we can plan accordingly. So if we talk about this in a proper way, our budget is our detailed plan which gives us the income expenses, the savings, and also it helps us to understand our spending pattern and also helps us to prioritize our expenses. So maybe there are some of the students who used to read a lot of books. Just taking a small example, who used to read a lot of books. So he or she can plan like for every month I can spend this much amount for my books or for my study. Someone can also plan कि every year in my career, I will keep at least 5% or 10% of my income for my father's study. I want to do some more certification course, advanced courses. So this way we can plan our total financial budgeting, that what is my income, what is my savings goal, how we are prioritizing our spending, and we can also have a track on the spending. The second is the benefit of budget. So if we do this budget, what would be the benefit? As I mentioned, the benefit would be we will be able to take a control on our finances, identify our spending patterns. Sometimes we spend lot on the shopping. Like we used to go to shopping mall. We know that we have this stuff we do not need, but still we end up with buying lot of things. So that way, if we have a track, even we can identify our spending pattern, कि where we are spending more. We can avoid the date, कि what for which we are taking the dates for personal loan or something, whatever we are requiring. So that also we can keep a track on, and we can at the end we can prepare our stable financial long-term goals. So as I mentioned, the key components of the budget is this is the income sources. Income can be your fixed income. Fixed income can be your salary. It can be your variable expenses, like if you have some stock or shares from where you were earning some money, that can be. And accordingly, you have to allocate the savings and you have to prepare the financial goals. So these are the basics of creating a budget. If we understand our plan, we know what are the expenses we require and how much we are planning for this. So this is a very brief about how we can prepare our budget. uh, do we have any question, or we can move to the next slide
Uh, so Subhasree will take the questions at the very
at the
end,
end?
and
Okay,
yeah, so
okay,
because
great.
you will still cover a lot in your PPT, I think so.
Sure. So next we can go to the next slide. Here we will understand the various steps how we can prepare. Can we move to, yeah, the steps for the budget, right? So here we can see the various steps when we prepare a budget. What the step generally we follow in the budget. So first we need to understand our income. So we have to keep in one side all the incomes. As I mentioned, like it can be income from the salary, it can be other sources, your investment, and any sources of the incomes that you can keep in one side. Then second is you track your expenses. There you have to keep a record of all the expenses, which can be your fixed expenses, your rent, your utilities like electric bill, your telephone, your mobile, all the variable expenses, groceries, entertainment bills, and all the expenses that you can keep in the next segment. Then we have to plan set a proper goal. And this goal is to define the short term and the long term. Like what are the things I immediately require in this month, or what if, I need at the end of like a quarter, or when we need later at like 5 years, after 2 years, and after 5 years, what are the amount we require for this. Then accordingly, we have to allocate the fund. We can assign a proportion of fund from our a month salary, or we can do it on a yearly basis. Ki this much amount, at least I will put in this bucket. So this way we can allocate the fund. And the fifth and the most important thing is to monitor. Why we need to monitor? Because sometimes it happens like we have prepared our plan, but we have end up with spending in one bucket more than last in last 3 months. We have spending more on the parties, we are spending more on shopping, or we are spending more on something else. But if we do not track it, maybe at the end of the year we will not be able to achieve what we want to achieve, and in sometimes when we have in crisis we will not able to manage. So we also require a regular monitoring of our budget, right? Can we move to the yes? So next we will talk about the effective way of managing the money. So when we know budget, understand our budgeting, we are managing all our budgets, we are preparing a proper plan. These are few steps how we can handle our finance, how we can manage our money in the right places. Now, if we do all these things, what we will expect that effectively we are managing our money, and our money is actually helping us when we need this. So there are four important things which we need to remember when we are doing this planning. One is we need to create an emergency fund. So what are the emergency fund? Emergency can happen anytime. An emergency never comes with a pre-intimation. It can be an accident, it can be any natural calamities, it can be anything. Suddenly you need some amount, a big amount of money. So if we do not plan it properly, and if we do not keep a emergency fund ready with us, then that time it will be a very difficult situation to handle, to manage that fund. So one first step is to we need to create an emergency fund. Second is pay off high rate of interest. So there are many situation comes when we used to take for personal loan. Personal loan is something which we should avoid, I will say. Why? Because it has a high rate of interest, but in many cases suddenly we need it. And when we need this kind of high rate of personal loan, we should try how early we can pay off those amount so that it doesn't help, it doesn't impact our regular finance. Then the third is reduce unnecessary expenses. As I mentioned in earlier slides also, there are a lot of the time we used to spend a lot, which already we have, but we still end up on spending more. Or we like doing a lot of parties, sometime we are doing, or we are purchasing. I have a new iPhone, but the new version has come, so I have to purchase that. I have a laptop, but I still need another one. So there are some things, I'm not saying we should not do this. We definitely should do this, but for that also we need to see track our budget. Is our if our budget, if our planning permits us, yes, we should do. That is why we need to keep a track on it. If it says ki, yes, it is not allowing us, I have already spent lot on in the previous years, and this is affecting now my budget, then we should avoid, try to reduce this unnecessary expenses. Then the automatic savings and the bill payment. So there are now a lot of SIPs, standing instructions in the bank, or even in our payments pattern also we can put on the payment dates, which can automatically be paid our telephone bill, our credit card bills. So we should also try that, because we are doing a lot of task managing. We are always multitasking, we're doing so many things, and sometimes some things may slip off from our mind. So just not to slip off that, and we should keep our automatic savings and automatic instructions giving to that the payment gets done on time, so that we do not end up with give penalties and more interest. So this is another thing. There's four things we can remember when we are planning our money management. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. So savings and investment strategy. So now, when we spoke about budgeting, we spoke about effectively managing our money. And when we talk about managing and money, where we will do the management money, where we will keep the money, this is also a very important decision to take. So savings and investment may the first thing that comes is the early savings. Many of you are student, you may join your job, or you will start your business. And sometimes we think, yes, just we have started, what is so hurry? Why we should start saving now? We should spend, we should enjoy for some times, and then we will think about it. So this is actually is not a very advisable thing to do. You should enjoy, but at the same time, you should plan that you should start at least a small things with your savings, because the early you start your savings, the more your money grow. There are compound interest. I think you must be you understand that. So the savings, the amount you start savings from the early, it will get more years to grow. So we should always plan that we should start the savings at the early stage. Then the next is diversify your investment. So what is it to diversify your investment? So when we talk about diversify our investment, generally we should not keep all our money in one bucket. If we keep all our savings into one bucket, if some mishaps happen, if something unexpected happens, then all our money be in trouble. So it is always advisable that you create different asset buckets like stocks, mutual funds, bond, real estate. Wherever you are investing, you diversify it to reduce the risk, and you can also maximize the return. Then the third thing is, like, if you are joining a company, maybe your company would be having some employer sponsored retirement plans like EPF, ESOP, many of the companies are having. There are NPS. So we should take the advantage of that also, because in many of cases there are matching grants facilities. In ESOP there are, in EPF there are. So in NPS, I think for the government also they have the matching grant. So we should also see where are the other areas like this where we can also invest our money. Then the fourth thing is, we should also think for professional advisors, take professional help. So many of the time we do not understand how to manage is the our budget. So there we can always go to a CA. We can always take our professional support who can help us in tailor-made our own financial planning. Like this is my income, these are my liabilities. They can also help us in understand what are the kind of investment I need based on my long-term plan, short-term plan. So this always is welcome. There are a lot of articles are available in social media. Also, we can see a lot of workshops are there. We can also go for attending some of the good workshop by some reputed organizations for understanding more on the investment and the saving strategy. Can we move to the next slide? Yes. So the next step for the investment and the money management is the credit and debt management. So credit and debt management is really very important. So whenever like we start working, we start getting calls from various customer cares like you are eligible for this much personal loan, you are eligible for this loan you can take. And sometimes we used to take based on our needs. Sometimes we just think, okay, I am eligible, so I can take it. Maybe we have not a proper plan for that. So for that, my suggestion would be we should understand our credit score and reports it. Like you should know okay, what are the credits you have taken, and you should regularly check your credit reports. And in case there are some errors or fraudulent activities, you should report it. And you should pay back your credit in when you are taking any credits. You should pay back it on a regular basis. Bill payment on a regular basis also help you in building your credit score, and it also helps in a good payment history. Which nowadays, if you see many of the recruiters, they also ask for your CIBIL score. They also ask for your credibility in the credit management, credit scores management. So this is one of the very important thing also that we understand and we also pay bills on time. Then managing our credit card debt. So credit card balances, if it is low or high, we should keep a track that every month we are paying. Because if we just think, okay, this month my bill is very less, I can spend this amount to something else, then next month I will pay both the things together. But sometimes it happens like it's end up with high interest charges, end up with penalties, and also affecting our credit score. So always plan that, as I mentioned in the earlier, like if we do not, if we are not able to remember all this thing in our mind, we can always keep an automatic payment style that where through it is getting paid on a regular basis. And last is most important is to avoid unnecessary debt. Like I mentioned in the earlier, we used to get a lot of calls that you are eligible for personal goal, you are eligible for this much based on your credit card. So try to avoid if it is not necessary. If it is necessary, then you have to take, and you if you are taking, you have to plan how you are paying it back. But if you do not need, just do not build your liabilities based on that. Yes, I am eligible, and someone is giving me loans and I need it. Just it is my want. Okay, I want to buy this car. I want to buy this. I can take a loan and do this. So do not do this haphazardly. Plan it way properly, and then only do. If it is not required, then do not go for unnecessary debt. Can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. So the financial planning for the future is very much important. I understand most of you who are joining the session are you. Maybe you are thinking, okay, why I need to plan from today, think about my retirement. But yes, it is very much important. We should plan for our future. And for this, we need to think it in four. Like I have just put down four things here. One is we should plan our we should set up a long-term goal, a short-term goal. We should also plan some of the major life events that comes. If we talk about the long-term financial goals, which may be like goals as your retirement plan, that can be your education funding, that can be you want to start a business or your child's education. Maybe you want to take a home loan. So these all can come under the long-term financial goals. You may have some major life event, like maybe you are thinking of getting married. You need some money ready with you for your new future. Then if you are if someone is having going to have a child, then you should plan for the education, child's education, everything that can be. Then plan your finance according to your like other major events. If someone of your close relative is getting married, you need some fund for that also. If you want to buy a like car, so you can also plan for this. So this can be divided into the long term and the short term goal, and we can plan accordingly. Then, as I mentioned, we also should plan from the beginning for our retirement. And for the retirement, like there are EPF in the companies, there are NPS. So we should start contributing some of the amount at least to the to this retirement accounts. And yes, one another important thing is the insurance. We should ensure that we have adequate insurance coverage for our health, for life, or for properties as well, so that it helps us or protect us against any unexpected events happening. Yeah, can we move to the next slide, please? Yes. So this is the can we move to the next slide? I'm in the same slide. Yes, yes. Yeah. So this is the impact of the financial literacy in individual and our society. So as we discussed now, all these pointers, the major things which I feel is important, that why we should know, because it helps us in an informed decision. When we have a control on our finance, we have a confidence on ourselves. So it helps and in the informed decision making of our finance. It helps in reduce the poverty. In many times we have seen that we are in many people who are spending more than the earning. So which has created a different situation of poverty in their life. So if we can track our expenses, spend accordingly, then maybe we will also be able to reduce the poverty and the inequality in the society. Then we can strengthen the economy even in our society also. That there are like it is not like only my finances related to me. So if we can create a coherence, it will also strengthen the economy of the country. And the lower financial stress we have, it is a good situation for your our mental health as well. So when we are in a financial stress situation, you have seen that we are in a very stressful situation, how to handle those situations. So if we plan it from the beginning, maybe we will be able to avoid this situation as well. And I think this is my last slide. Yes. So it is all about what I understand about financial literacy and how we can manage our money. So now, yes, if there is any question, we can take.
Of course, Subhasree, thank you so much. Our audience does have questions, and a lot of questions are pouring in while you were, still delivering the session. But in the interest of time, it would be great
Yes.
if we can email them to you, and if you could be kind enough to just answer as many of them as you possibly can. And
Sure.
I'm sorry, I think it's just time to move on to the next session.
Sure.
And
Thank you
in the
very much,
meantime,
Mamta.
Subhashri, thank you so much for, having this amazing session with us, for sparing the time for our audience. And I see, as you can see from the reactions, the audience seems to have learned a lot from you about financial management, savings, investments, and definitely will be taking a lot back to their lives from here from you. So thank you so much, Subhashri. You can exit the webinar while we continue with the next set.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And please share the questions. I will try to respond as many as possible. Thank you very much.
Sure,
Thanks,
sure.
everyone.
Very kind of you. Thank you so much, Subhashri. Have a great day ahead.